Live from a windowless room in the Dungeon of Redemption headquarters, we bring you the podcast Redemption HQ. I am Spectral Force. I am joined tonight with Harlan and Robert D. Unfortunately, Walt the Walt has sent Brobarian out on a special Halloween mission, so he will not be here tonight. Hopefully, he can regale us next time of the top secret mission. For today's episode, we are covering smart heroes. You know, not dumb heroes. Not I pick things up and put them down. Like the guy Beefcake.
What a pull.
But smart heroes, like one of the characters, Alfred Einstein, descendant of Albert Einstein. He is a scientist among in the ego. So, without further ado, we will get started. So your smart heroes, they use their genius to enact plans. Plans are powerful but limited effects that can break the fourth wall, like Deadpool, effectively changing the past to affect the present. Smart heroes get a D6 hit die. They start with 6 plus their con modifier. For their defense, it's called Superior Tactics. It is 10 plus Intelligence modifier plus Smart Hero Defense bonus. Now, we have talents, and smart heroes get something at every level, unlike some of the other classes or archetypes, actually, we've covered. No, the other archetypes do get something at every level. I was wrong. And this is why we don't practice things. So, for level 1, the smart heroes get plans and genius class talent. Your starting proficiency is 2 and 0 defense bonus, 2 genius. Plans are intelligence modifier minimum of 1. And that is, intelligence modifier minimum 1 plus half hero level rounded down for the total number of plans. Select a set of plans equal to the total above from the shared plans list and your class plans list. So, smart heroes have a generic plans list, and then each class has their own on top of that. These selections are semi-permanent. When you gain a level, you can decide to exchange a single plan you know for a different plan. The effect of each plan, as well as the action you must take to enact it, is included in the plan's individual description. If a plan calls for a saving throw, the save is DC 8 plus your intelligence modifier plus your proficiency bonus. This is your plan DC. Plans grow in power as you gain more levels. Each plan describes how it improves, and these enhancements are cumulative unless otherwise noted. Heroes multi-classing in a smart hero have a cap on the level of effect they can access. All right, so to genius at level 1, your incredible genius allows you to devise and enact cunning plans that can accomplish what seems impossible and to explain how they came to fruition. You can enact any plan you know by spending 1 genius. The Smart Hero table shows how much genius you have based on your level. Genius recharges when you finish a long rest. Provided you have genius, you can use any of your plans without restriction. Right, back to talents. At level 2, you get Mental Refresh. 2 minor feats or 1 major feat. Level 3, plans improve, and you get a class talent. Also, your genius goes up both at level 2 to 3 and level 3 to 4. Level 4, you get 2 minor feats or 1 major feat. Your genius stays at level 4, but your plans are now 2 plus your intelligence modifier. Level 5, you get plans improve and a class talent. Your proficiency bonus goes to 3, and you get a +1 defense bonus and 5 genius. Level 6, you get 2 minor feats and 1 major feat. Proficiency bonus and defense bonus are still +3 and +1 respectively, and genius is also still 5. But your plans are now 3 plus intelligence modifier. Level 7, you get another plan improvement and a class talent. The only thing that improves is your genius at this level. Level 8, you get 2 minor feats or a major. Proficiency is still +3. Defense is still +1. Genius is still +6. But plans go to 4 plus intelligence modifier. Level 9, another plan improvement and another class talent. This level, your proficiency goes to +4. Your defense goes to +2. Your genius goes to 7. Your plans stay at 4 plus intelligence modifier. And maxed out at level 10, another 2 minor feats or 1 major. And the only thing that changes in this one is you get 5 plus intelligence modifier for plans. Now, your smart hero shared plans. We're just going to touch lightly on each of these because there are 7 of them and they can go into some detail. Let's see. Your smart hero plans are available to all smart heroes. Plans represent the ability of the smart hero to anticipate situations and have preparations in place to deal with the challenges that face them. Players are not required to explain precisely how these arrangements came into being, but it can add a lot of fun to the game. The GM is welcome to help with this as well. So, as a player, this is your chance to fluff. We like fluff as GMs. It makes for a much more good gaming experience because we love things that are more good.
Yep. We are fluffers.
A lot of ridiculous shenanigan possibilities with this class. I love it.
Yes. All right. So we'll go with coordinated maneuvers. You already told your team exactly where to go in this very situation. It's kind of like a play for like football or basketball or hockey. When you enact this plan as a bonus action, you and each ally that can see or hear you can immediately move up to their movement speed. Now, this is great if you have like, comms devices in your ears, so you don't need line of sight. But as long as you guys are connected, you can all hear each other. Opportunity attacks made in reaction to this movement have disadvantage. During a foot chase, each affected hero gains advantage on strength athletics checks until the start of your next turn. That seems pretty good, and that's a basic, level 1 through 4. There are additional changes at level 5 and level 9, as are with most of, well, at least the next couple plans here. The next one is Dirty Little Secrets. Is that a song?
Yep.
That does sound like one, yeah.
I'll keep you my dirty little secret. Must be a politician. Your information network gives you access to confidential, uncompromising information about nearly anyone. So remember your second grade teacher that didn't like you? Well, now your smart hero can get the dirt. You memorize this information in advance of meeting people. At any time, you can enact this plan to recall information about a given person you meet or know. This gives you advantage on charisma checks made against that person for the next hour. After that, we have Expect the Unexpected. When you enact this plan as an action, you prepare yourself for every form of attack. For the next hour, your defense bonus is +3. So that's pretty good. Also improvements at level 5 and level 9. Now, the next one, know the layout. You knew you were going to end up here. So naturally, you carefully study the blueprints. Or perhaps you research so many similar locations that you can perfectly predict the layout. When you enact this plan, which does not require any action, the GM reveals one of the following facts of your choice. I'll go through this little list here. All entrances and exits from the building, the number of guards normally stationed, the type of security systems installed in the building, which floor of the building given a person or object is located on, the location of all stairs and elevators in the building, the location of one secret room or door within the building, and the fastest path from one location in the building to another. After that, we have the right tool. I know a few tools. When you enact this plan as a free action, you produce the perfect tool for the task at hand. You brought it with you. You had it brought to you, or knew just where to find it. The tool can be any piece of equipment that you can carry and afford. If it is a weapon, it is fully loaded. So not only could it be a hammer, a shovel, a pickaxe, it could be a weapon. It could be a gun. It could be a taser. It could be brass knuckles, pepper spray, whatever floats your boat. And the next to the last generic plan we have is Watch Your Step. When you enact this plan as an action, you cause a 10-foot square surface within 60 feet to become slick with oil, ice, marbles, or some other slippery substance. God, sounds like Diddy's house. The area becomes difficult terrain. Each combatant standing in the area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your plan DC or fall prone. A combatant that enters the area or ends their turn there must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your plan DC or fall prone. This effect lasts for 1 minute. That's longer than most combats. When you enact this plan during a chase, instead choose up to 2 opponents on foot or 1 land vehicle's driver. Each target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your plan DC. You earn 1 chase point for each target that fails, or 2 points if the target was a driver. And our last shared plan, when a plan comes together. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely love it when a plan comes together.
A-team?
Yeah. Not the B team, but the A team.
The A-team.
Pity the fool.
B.A. Baracus.
After you enact any other plan, you may use this plan as a free action to inspire your team. You and up to 6 of your allies that can see or hear you gain temporary hit points equal to your intelligence modifier. That's pretty cool. And that goes up at levels 3, 5, 7, and 9. I'm going to touch on this one. 1d4 at level 3 plus int. Level 5 is 2d4. Level 7 is 3d4. And level 9 is 4d4 plus your intelligence modifier, which could be, up to 21 temporary hit points. So that's pretty good. And that covers the Smart Hero archetype. Next up in the list for classes, Engineer.
And that's my cue. Yeah, and as we transition over to the Engineer, just those base class plans you were mentioning, I mean, from the get-go, this archetype is just full of utility and battlefield control and fun narrative shenanigans that can happen. This is such a versatile archetype, and each of these classes we'll look at has a very distinct flavor that really just makes them so good in specific situations.
It's definitely the meatiest, in my opinion, like the meatiest archetype that's in the book. In the front end of the book, they classify all of the archetypes into like complexity of play.
Right.
And there are a few that land in like complex. And I think the complexity of this class just comes from like the sheer volume of options.
I totally agree. The ability to create through choosing specific plans to create a particular type of person or type of skill set is just amazing.
Yeah. So it's, which is why we're not going deep into all of the plans because, we would be here all night, if we dove into each individual plan. So
Those that work in the morning
and everything.
Oh, yeah. And that brings us to the Engineer. The opening text reads, "You love technology. You see the natural world as a giant set of tools to build whatever you can imagine. Whether it's programming drones with artificial intelligence or inventing new and wondrous machines, where others see impossibility, you see inevitability. Engineers are capable combatants thanks to their mechanical companion and plans that deal electrical damage." This is going to be our first class that actually starts dealing energy damage types on a grand scale. They also offer strong support to members of their team and bring a number of useful skills to the table. They certainly cause anybody with electronics to suffer. So as far as the proficiencies this class gets, they are proficient in saving throws for intelligence and dexterity, which make perfect sense. Intelligence for their, of course, they're smart heroes, and dexterity because of their ability to do fine repairs and such. For skills, they get to choose 3 from the following list of arts and crafts, computers, vehicles, investigation, mechanics, natural sciences, and security. And again, all of these are perfectly in keeping with the themes and concept of someone that is effectively a MacGyver physical tinkerer. For equipment, they are proficient in basic equipment, and they gain 1 free expertise, chosen from the computers, mechanics, or vehicle skills. Now, as in other classes that give you expertise from the get-go, you've got to be proficient in the skill that you get expertise from first. They recommend the mechanic pack for the equipment, not surprisingly, and for weapons, the stun gun. And in addition to just being wonderfully flavorful, it makes perfect sense. It's not shocking at all. Ba-dum-bum.
I see what you did there.
Thanks. So, for level 1, first up, they gain a mechanical companion. This is the first of the battle buddy classes that we're going to find in this book. We'll get to another one when we get to the wise hero, and then there's another 1 or 2 in the vault when we get to a particular charming hero. But at any rate, Your mechanical companion is a robot or drone that assists you in tasks, can fight beside you, and will obey your commands. It's perfectly loyal and obeys even suicidal commands. Makes sense? It's a machine. You can communicate with it at any range as long as you have a device that can remotely connect to it, and its sensory input can be recorded for later viewing. You can enact plans from your mechanical companion's location instead of your own. This acts very much like a wizard's familiar in more fantasy-style games. And in fact, the Smart Hero very much takes on the role of that same sort of battlefield controller that a magic user would use. And I'm very eager to see what sort of smart magic users we get when we get to Everyday Arcana's release. But at any rate, back to the engineer. If a plan affects you, it can affect your companion instead. If a plan calls for an attack, you can make the attack roll, but the range can be calculated from the companion's location. Your mechanical companion can be a creation of your own genius or a commercial product you've modified with enhanced abilities. Wonderful flavor there. Its engineering is such that you don't have to worry about battery life, and you can command it by voice or by using a remote control. And you can choose from the robots detailed below, and they've got 3 options of an amphibious robot, a flying drone, or a walking or driving robot. Now, the field repairs talent you also get at first level is a wonderful synergy with your mechanical companion. As an action, field repairs lets you choose a friendly robot, such as your companion that's within 5 feet of you, to spend up to half of its maximum hit die rounded down. If it does this, then it regains additional hit points equal to your intelligence modifier for each die spent. This is effectively letting the mechanical companion do a second wind, a pretty nicely charged one at that, with those bonus hit points there. And now, just like second wind, a robot cannot benefit from this talent more than once before it finishes a short or long rest. So if you happen to have, say, a synthetic origin buddy that's in the party and you have a mechanical companion, there's not really a limit to the number of times you can use field repairs. There's a limit to how many times each individual robot can benefit from it before it needs to rest. And that brings us to third level. The fine-tuning talent lets you use a bonus action to order your mechanical companion to make a single attack. You can take this action even if you have issued another command to your companion as an action this turn. Now, there are rules in the book, general rules in the book for how to use companions in combat. This particular situation here makes it a lot more effective by letting you use a bonus action to order an attack as opposed to your own action. It frees your action up for a number of other plans and possibilities. Now, on the topic of plans, engineering plans can be selected by anybody in the engineering class or who has the appropriate multi-class talent. And we start with Customize. This plan takes an action to enact, and it lets you custom modify a firearm or some other mechanical weapon that you or an ally in 5 feet is wielding. This effect or modification lasts for 10 minutes or until you try to use this plan again, and it gains 1 benefit from a list of 7 possible options. And they range from boosting the weapon's penetration value to getting rid of a stationary property or giving it like a D4 bonus die of fire damage and various other things. And then as you level up, the duration increases and the number of benefits that you can give to the single weapon increases. This is just MacGyver and Tony Stark blended together. This is beautiful. So you could say, okay, what do we got? We've got a shotgun, and I've got some duct tape and paper clips. We're just going to turn that into a dragonfire round shotgun. Why the heck not? And cut the power is our next plan.
Very much like the Artificer subclass of Battlesmith.
Oh, yes, very much so. This has major Artificer vibes if you are a fan of the 3rd, 4th, or 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons magical engineer character class from Eberron. Love it. Now, the cut the power option, this only takes a bonus action to enact, and it lets any one machine that you can see or everything powered by the building's electrical system in a single room that you can see to just lose electrical power until someone makes a repair. Now, if the machine is being held or operated by someone, then the person using it can try to make an intelligence save against your plan DC to block this effect, to ignore it. And anyone can attempt to fix the outage as an action by succeeding on a mechanics skill check against your plan DC. And you, of course, can simply end this plan and return the power as another bonus option. Now, if you can target an autonomous robot, including someone, say, with the synthetic origin, or as we saw with the cyber modder tough hero, someone that's reached that level that has become an effective robot. If you target an autonomous robot with this plan, they shut down. Now, they just power down, yeah. So instead of the above effect, that autonomous robot character has to make an intelligence saving throw against your plan DC, or else they're paralyzed until the end of your next turn. So if you're fighting an android or a synthetic enemy, this is brutal. And again, it will improve with levels. And in fact, I know I failed to mention what talents you get at 5, 7, and 9 in this class because, well, rather than a separate talent, because the plans increase in duration or effect at 5, 7, and 9, levels 5, 7, and 9, those provide you with the power boosts. And boy, what power boosts. And can I just mention how awesome it is that no matter what level of effect you use a plan, it still only costs a single genius?
That's pretty sick.
This is bang for your buck. And I mean that quite literally when we get to Demolish.
I just want to cut in for a quick second on cut
Sure.
the power. Level 9, you can cut the power to an entire block or any number of individual machines you can see. The entire block. Now think about that. Think about your city block. If you live in a major city, think how big that block is that you just took out the power to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is effectively you saying, okay, we got an army of robots here. What are we going to do? What is that? Why do you have a thermite detonator? This isn't a thermite detonator. We had this talk. I know that's not allowed in the city limits anymore. Ever.
It's not a war crime until you get caught.
Okay, if that's not a thermite detonator, what is it? Oh, this is a portable EMP. Click. Huh. You couldn't have put a label on it so he didn't freak out? But yeah, this is beautiful. I love it. And that brings us to the Demolish plan. And it's just like it sounds. Now, this takes an action to enact, and you activate a hidden demolitions charge. And I love the narrative possibilities of this. You can say, tick, 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 boom. What? How did you do that? I was the janitor. What? That was you in the office space. Yes, I was planting this charge. How did you do that? And it actually offers a number of possible ways you can place the charge or various things that it will do. By the way, targets cannot use the dive for cover reaction against this plan. There is no trying to dive out of the way cinematically of this thing. So if you attach the charge to the ceiling or the floor, the surface within 5 feet of that charge just collapses. If anyone's under it, they got to make a dex save or they take bludgeoning damage with a PV1 penetration value from the falling debris. If they're standing on top of it, they have to make the same dex save or they fall down through the hole, suffering not just the 3d6 explosive damage from the charge, but any falling damage they suffer. And then if you attach it to a wall or a door, it just blasts through. It breaches that wall or door, makes difficult terrain in that rubble area with some half cover. And, well, if you were the poor sap that was on the other side of that shaped charge, dexterity save again, or the 3d6 explosive damage, this time with a penetration value of 4, and half as much on a successful save. And you know what? People are running away from you. You can just say, okay, I happen to place charges along that road they're running on. That road is now corned beef hash. They got to make a dex save, or they take bludgeoning damage from the shrapnel of the gravel and the rock. And each failed save also gives you one chase point against those opponents, unless the opponents just drop from the chase because, they're unconscious, mangled, or maimed. And the size of the effect and the damage of the effect keeps growing with every enhancement as you go through levels 3 through 9. Now, the one that makes me smile and makes me instantly think, yes, this is the class I'm building my MCU Tony Stark Iron Man with, the emergency jetpack. You're Disney's Rocketeer. You enact this plan as an action, and you reveal that all along you were wearing an emergency jetpack. This is so pulp. I love it. Basically, what this means is you get a flying speed of 60 feet until the end of your next turn, at which point, if you're not on solid ground, you fall. Now, if you activate this during a foot chase, you just automatically bypass all ability checks and saving throws related to difficult terrain, jumping, or climbing because, you're flying. And you have advantage on all athletics and endurance checks while this jetpack is active during a chase, or a foot chase, that is. Now, you might be thinking, well, how would that be relevant if this thing only lasts until the end of your next turn? Well, again, as this thing improves with levels 3 through 9, the duration improves. You can actually give this benefit to either a different person, or as you grow in power, to multiple additional people. You can effectively say, hey, you wearing those sneakers I gave you for Christmas? Yeah. Why? No reason. Click. Why am I flying? Just go with it and steer with your head. What? Love it. Love it so much. And then the next plan really has beautiful synergy for the mechanical companion. I mean, Customize does as well, because you could put Customize on the mechanical companion's innate weapons and such. But My Robot Can Do That is the name of this next plan. And it literally is an action to activate some experimental system you installed in your mechanical companion. And this lasts for an hour. And yeah, this is beautiful. And so while some of these are perfect for combat situations, a lot of these, and there are 5 options to choose from here, a number are very good for combat and defense, but others are just really good for skill boosts, speed, for scouting, or efficiency to increase the duration. And as this plan improves, you can, by the time you get to level 9, each level improvement, you're stacking an additional benefit when you activate this plan. By the time you get to level 9, you just give all of these benefits to your robot, because why the heck not? And then if you want to have another big area effect skadoosh, to quote Jack Black from Kung Fu Panda, but you want something that's a little friendlier to the local environment than Demolish, there's the Overload plan. Again, an action to activate, and this basically causes any electronic device in 120 feet of you that you can see, or that you can access via a network, to just short out and start shooting arcs of electricity at anybody nearby. Every combatant within 5 feet of that device that you have targeted has to make a dexterity save against your plan DC, or they take 3d6 electrical damage with a penetration value of 4. They still take half damage if they save. And by the way, there is no dive for cover option here. You are getting either full fricasseed or half fried, one of the two. And again, the number of dice that this damage does goes up with the enhancements, as does the area of effect. This thing is this is a lightning storm, and I love it. And that brings us to our last engineer plan, the Shocking Blow. This is an action. When you enact this plan, as part of that action, you make a melee attack that, instead of using your strength modifier, uses your intelligence modifier. You basically are making an intelligence-based plan attack, because it's intelligence mod plus proficiency bonus as the attack bonus. And if you hit, it's 3d6 electrical damage, penetration value of 2, to the target you hit. Because you have a special electrical capacitor hidden up your sleeve or in your glove, you've amped up that old Joker shocker handshake gag to 11. Now, when the target takes this damage, when it's hit, it has to make a con save against your plan DC, or it gets stunned until the end of your next turn. This is beautiful. And again, the amount of damage dice goes up as this plan improves. That stun until the end of your next turn, the duration of that improves. And at a certain point, at the highest level, you can actually just, once you activate the plan once, for the next minute, you can just make that melee attack again for free without spending genius points. It's just, you're a walking Azer. I just love this class so much. I'm telling you, it's Tony Stark meets MacGyver. And
it is a very cool class. Like it like I said, it's really adjacent to me of like the Artificer class, specifically like the Battlesmith class out of D&D. It's like the rigging class from Shadowrun, like, with the drones and everything. It's your builder, which is a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. Which now brings us to our hacker.
Hacker me.
Yes, I believe this one doesn't need a ton of explanation if you've seen the hit 1995 movie Hackers with Angelina Jolie. But there is some interesting things about this particular class. So the hacker, you feel more at home in the abstract digital realm than you do in analog reality. You are the new mind, the new flesh, and the new cybernetic entity born of an ever-advancing interface between human and machine. When knowledge is power, you are near infinite. The hacker plans revolve around computer information and understanding of human behavior in the digital sphere. The hacker can easily overcome technological challenges and exploit the increasingly digital world. They are vulnerable in physical fight, but excel at avoiding the need for such primitive conflict. So they're soup to nuts right here. Saving throws are wisdom or intelligence and wisdom. You get to choose 4 skills from computers, deception, investigation, insight, mechanics, natural sciences, security, social sciences, stealth, and streetwise. They get basic equipment. They get electronic expertise. So you either choose computers or security. Obviously, you must be proficient in that skill to gain expertise. And the recommended packs are, you guessed it, Hacker Pack. And yes, and again, their weapon is stun gun or pepper spray. So with this class, you get your talents right away at level 1, and then following that at 3, 5, 7, and 9, they just improve. So the talents that you get at level 1 are Digital Ghost. You maintain an array of electronic aliases you use for digital transactions and official records. Your real name, address, and other vital data has been scrubbed clean, making it impossible for any person or organization to discover anything about you. That's hard stop right there.
That's great flavor.
You also get a talent called It's For You. Use your bonus action to make someone's cell phone ring at maximum volume. You must be able to see your target, and they must have a cell phone or similar device. That's key. The target must make a wisdom saving throw against your plan DC. If they fail, they are distracted until the end of your next turn. Now, this talent used correctly can thwart any sort of hidden enemy that might have a cell phone. It gives you the distracted condition if they fail that save. But used strategically, this is like a sleeper of a really good talent. So obviously there's a ton of plans, and I'll go over them, pretty briefly, but there's one I do want to go into because I think it's really important to what makes this class, so essential hacker. So your hacker plans, the big one, in my opinion, that is worth going over is called Brick It.
You must brick it.
So your hacker plans, obviously your smart hero level determines the number of plans blah, 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 blah. So Brick It. Using the latest 0-day exploit, you could activate this plan as an action to shut down or damage computer-controlled devices that are not specifically shielded against wireless communications and are within 100 feet of you. You need a computer or a smartphone. Success is automatic against computer terminals, handheld devices, smartphones, electronic door controls, and similar devices. Against a device being actively driven or operated, or when targeting a robot, the operator entity can make an intelligence saving throw against your plan DC to negate the effect. So that's like basically the only thing. If that thing is in use or being operated or is like sentient like a robot, then they get the save. The exact effect depends on the type of target and the plan enhancement level. A targeted system that is shut down but not destroyed can be restarted as an action by someone with an intelligence check made against your plan DC. All right, so here's the jam right here. So these are the Brick It results table. So at hacker level 1, if the device computer controlled, you can shut it down. The vehicle risks a crash, which is referenced in the vehicle rules in chapter 11. Robot, droid, or cyborg. 3d6 electrical damage. At third, you cannot restart the device for 10 minutes. If it's a vehicle, driving checks have disadvantage. Again, robot, droid, or cyborg, we'll call that RDC. 6d6 electrical damage. Level 5, destroyed outright. 3d6 fire damage to anyone holding or carrying the device, and they have the burning condition. If it's a vehicle, console ignites, 3d6 fire damage to driver, and they are burning. RDC, 9d6 electrical damage. So that's level 5, mind you. So if you're going up, and it is very common, at least in the everyday hero games that I've built, to be dealing with, we are dealing with the modern age. It's very hard to write like a modern day thing that doesn't involve technology. So this,
Very true.
everyone has a smartphone, let's be honest. So at level 7, for the device, you can affect a number of devices equal to your intelligence modifier, which at level 7 should be pretty decent. So if you are facing down, say, 5 henchmen, I bet you dollars to donuts those 5 henchmen got smartphones. If it's a vehicle, the vehicle just shuts down and comes to a stop. So think about that.
So many cars
for
have
chases.
computers right now. So many cars have computers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a single one I've seen on nearby used car lots that don't have at least some computer situation with the engine, with those key fobs. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is a powerful class for the modern age.
So think about that for the chase mechanics. If you're in a
yeah.
car chase and you happen to have a hacker in your car, they can just end the chase, basically.
Sudden stop.
And then for the RDC, 12d6 electrical damage. So, and at level 9, for the device, the fire damage becomes 6d6. So that destroyed condition that does the 3d6 to anyone holding it or burning now becomes 66. It's just doubles. When it comes to bricking a vehicle, the vehicle is totaled due to the control system being destroyed. Can't be fixed up, can't get back on the road. And then with the RDCs, 15d6 electrical damage.
Ow.
That's a lot of dice.
Oh, holy crud.
That's an
a big
average of
chunk.
about like 45?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's important to remember about this bricking it is that the success is automatic against computer terminals, handheld devices, smartphones, electronic door controls, and similar devices. That's dare I say that's broken. That can really do some damage.
This is very like techno wizard.
Big time. This is your Decker right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted to definitely touch on the Brickit plans because if I was playing this class, I would lean very heavily into using that plan as often as I could, because you are giving yourself an opportunity to A, set the battlefield, B, get into places that may be secured, may be locked, may be monitored by security devices, anything like that. And then C, once you get on the inside of those places, to really, like I said, kind of control the battlefield when it comes to combat. Whether it be a turret or drones or anything like that, you pretty much have control and reign over how those operate. So the name of the game for this particular class is, my feeling is that if you're creating this class, you want to work like with the rest of the party to really, because you're really not going to need to double dip on this too much, but you're also going to want to make sure that you have enough protection so that you can enact these plans, because like it says in the outset, this is not like, this is a glass cannon. So
Very true.
Very important to remember. So you get a handful more
balance.
plans, obviously, in addition to the shared plans from the smart class. You get cha-ching. Thanks to your array of fake and stolen credit card accounts, you can activate this plan anytime you need to make a purchase that takes electronic payments or credit. Hello, everything.
Yeah.
You treat your wealth level as 4 or your current wealth level plus 1, whichever is higher, for any
Holy
single
crap.
purchase.
Yeah, you can buy anything.
So you can
It's like-
take any background or profession, whatever grants you your wealth level. I forget off the top of my head.
Profession.
That makes sense. And just be like, all right, well, I got cha-ching, so now it doesn't matter. I could be a street kid, and I've got a wealth level of 4. Just like in Supernatural when Charlie gives them the hacked credit card.
Charlie, what a great character.
Yes. So purchasing traceable goods such as a car, boat, real estate, or company with this plan is potentially dangerous. After 1 week, authorities may investigate the purchase and track such goods. The highest wealth level in the game is wealth level 6. So you can be effectively like a millionaire. You might want to avoid buying a mansion or like a Lambo. But other than that, you can pretty much move no problem. What I will say is that at level 9, you can safely purchase traceable goods. So once you reach your maxed out, you can buy those mansions in that Lambo. So did my homework. Having previously studied your opponent's online profile, you can enact this plan as a bonus action to know your opponent's weaknesses. Choose a target you can see, apply one of the following effects to the target. They can make an intelligence saving throw against your plan DC at the end of each of their turns and ends it. So this has things like, Achilles heel, disadvantage on saving throws, disadvantage on attack rolls. You gain advantage on attack rolls, advantage on strength and dex checks, advantage on perception and insight checks. This is operating under the idea that you have taken the time to research whoever you're going up against, and you're either going to buff yourself or you're going to impede your enemy in some way. So, it's also got faster than you, which is another one. But the way that this scales on levels is as the levels go up, it affects how many of these effects you can apply. So there are a total of 6 effects. By level 9, you can apply 5, which is insane.
That's huge. That
So
is
you
amazing.
can buff yourself and impede your target. By level 5, you can apply 3 of them. It's pretty sick. So you got I'm in. Thanks to backdoor access you set up last week. When you enact the plan as a bonus action, take control of a single computer or a computer-dependent device you can access directly through Nectar's blah, 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 blah. The device or system is being actively operated by someone. Target is a robot. It goes back to that Bricket thing where if it's being used or it's a sentient robot, then they're going to get a save on it. Otherwise, it's pretty automatic. But this basically gives you complete access to whatever you need. It's the way it scales and level is that your access has growing and growing effect. So at your base level, the access can't be traced back to you. At your top tier level, after enacting this plan, you can use it again as an action without expending any genius, taking control of more systems until the 1 hour time limit expires. It's pretty solid. It'll just give you access wherever you go. RTFM, because you previously read the friendly manual, you can enact this plan as a reaction before making an ability check, allowing a skill proficiency as a bonus action or any time outside of combat. Choose a skill, gain the proficiency expertise. So this one basically lets you take equipment and skill expertises as a pretty much not a reaction as the action, but like you pretty much whatever skill or equipment set that you need, you now know, which is pretty sweet. The big one is you can use at level 5, you can use your intelligence modifier for attack or damage rolls with weapons with which you are proficient.
Oh, I love that.
That's a big one.
You're basically programming yourself with new skills and information with these plans.
It's
That's
like the
awesome.
Matrix training program.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. So we got 2 more to go. This one's called Sucks to Be You. You must know the name of the target to enact this plan against him. That is very key because that's contingent on information that you gather in the onset. The effect lasts until the target has a chance to clear up the problem with authorities. Clearing their name requires a charisma or persuasion check. So basically, like you reach back in time and you have pretty much besmirched someone's name and made their life hell. So and these are all pretty self-explanatory. The effects of these are no access. You can scramble their passwords. No credit. All their credit cards and debit cards stop working. No exit. You put them on a no-fly list. So if you've got a big
Damn.
bad that is flying like commercial for some reason, they're grounded. No explanation. You fill their hard drives with salacious media files or embarrassing materials. That is shady. And then you get no free pass. You just put a warrant out for their arrest for unpaid parking tickets, which is awesome. Once again, the way that this scales is that it's how many of those effects you can apply to somebody. So by level 9,
Nice.
you can choose 5 of those effects to apply to somebody. Rude.
That-
And then
That kind of reminds me from the movie Hackers, what they do to Agent Gill.
that's right. It's
Nice.
it'll just, I mean, to be like, all right, I'm taking away your money. You can't access any of your personal files. I'm going to fill your hard drive with whatever shady material that may be.
And I'm
you
gonna
can't
have
get on a plane.
I'm gonna have
And-
these phone people call your phone looking for a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And
If
then
you want to
there's
be,
the arrest warrant out for you. So you're basically
Love it.
forced on the run with nowhere to go.
this is perfect for playing the character of Hardison from the Leverage TV show.
Yes.
So our last plan for the hacker is we interrupt this program. Using your botnet with media company mainframes, you can enact this plan as an action to broadcast an audio-video message in real time to all media devices within 200 feet of your current location. So it can be prepared or it can be live using your cell phone camera. You can limit the message to specific devices, types of devices, or specific media networks if you choose. The message can be up to 3 minutes long. You can get a lot done in 3 minutes over like a broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that this scales in level, it's the range increases or the duration increases. So remember I said, it's within 200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
By level 3, it's a mile. By level
Wow.
5, it's 100 miles.
Whoa.
By level 9, you can send the message worldwide. So you can do a lot of damage with this class. And this is why these smart classes are a bit more complex. And I would almost say like a little bit more nuanced depending on like whatever
Mhm.
GM you have running. I
Right.
would say that if you are a GM where a player wants to play a smart class, a smart archetype class in general, I wouldn't try to hamper these plans by any means. Don't wrap plot armor around your precious story so that your smart heroes can't use these plans. Because what makes these plans so fun is if anyone has ever played, say, Blades in the Dark or Scum and Villainy, there is a mechanic where you basically like step back into time and say that you did something beforehand. It's kind of how these plans work. And I would say have fun with your players using these plans. Because if you get someone who's in there as a hacker and, you have your big bad, they know their name, and all of a sudden they put the sucks to be you deal on them, find a way to work that into your campaign. Don't be like, oh, well, he's got this other identity where he can get around. He's got a private jet, so don't worry about that, blah, 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 blah. Allow
No.
these plans to run rampant. It'll make for a super fun game. So that is your hacker class. On
Nice.
to the mastermind.
And yeah, that's me up to the plate again. The Mastermind, this class is the smart hero that gets, out of all the smart hero classes in the core, they get the most number of skills when you add up expertise and skills together. They are a skill machine. They are, I would argue, the smart hero whose plans are the most able to manipulate others in a social sense and to really tweak the strands of fate, metaphorically speaking. So, it says you are always at least one step ahead of your enemies, plotting, scheming, and planning your next master stroke. Your allies benefit from your genius as well. If only you could find someone to truly challenge you. Mastermind plans involve strategies that were retroactively enacted in the past to be revealed only in the present moment. This makes the mastermind very powerful outside combat, with the ability to shortcut difficult challenges. In combat, however, they tend to be on the weaker side. Now, I get serious Moriarty Sherlock Holmes vibes from this guy. They are proficient in intelligence and wisdom saving throws. And like the hacker, they're going to get 4 skills from a fairly long list, which includes almost all of the intelligence-based skills and a couple of charisma ones. We're talking computers, deception, insight, investigation, medicine, natural sciences, perception, persuasion, security, social sciences, and streetwise. These guys know a little bit of everything and about how to read people and how to work information networks. For equipment, they only are proficient with basic equipment because these guys are thinkers, not necessarily knuckle dusting, in-your-face combat folk. But they get 2 expertise. 2. Now again, you still have to be proficient in the 2 you choose, but they get to choose from a very lengthy list of computers, deception, insight, investigation, perception, persuasion, security, social sciences, and streetwise. They basically can choose from just about any one of their class skills. I think the only class skill that's not on here is medicine and natural sciences. Otherwise, they can pick any of their other class skills to get expertise from, 2 of them. And they get the executive equipment pack as recommended equipment, and it's recommended they get a pocket 38 pistol or a hunting rifle. Now, these guys get 2 talents at level 1, and then for levels 3 through 9, it's just plan improvements at levels 3, 5, 7, and 9. But the 2 talents they get at level 1 are rather interesting and very flavorful to the class. First up, you have know-it-all. And that's just like it sounds. You have advantage on any ability check to recall information. And take a look again at that class skill list. We're talking medicine, we're talking natural sciences, medicine if you want to use medicine in the sense of let's remember diagnoses or medical information, social sciences, computers. If you're trying to remember something, you always have advantage. That's pretty good. And then, I love this, the next talent is called You're Doing It Wrong. Whenever an ally that can see and hear you misses with an attack, you can use your reaction to say, a little to the left, or swing with your hips. Basically instruct them on the proper technique, coach them, and let them re-roll the attack. There's no limit to the number of times you can do this before you rest. It just uses your reaction. This makes this class a very good buffing class. Now, your mastermind plans, again, they tend to deal with a lot of manipulation, a lot of subtlety, a lot of narrative control. So first up, I had it poisoned. Thanks to your brilliant foresight and schemes, this plan can be enacted as a reaction. And then one of the following occurs. Well, actually, when one of the following occurs, you can use a reaction. When you or an ally you see makes a successful attack with a weapon that does piercing or slashing damage to the target, or after someone in the same room eats something, drinks something, or receives medication or medical treatment. When one of those 2 things happen, you can use this reaction. And you can have either the target need to make a constitution save against your plan DC, or be infected with a hallucinogen for 1 minute, being sickened, or the target must make the con save against the plan DC and take 3d6 additional poison damage, ignoring any armor. And even if they make the save, it's half the damage. Now, if you have an ingestible or injury poison in your inventory, you can choose to use that poison instead of those 2 possible options. A lot of versatility here, a lot of possible shenanigans, everything from making sure the person drank a truth serum and all of a sudden your interrogation goes much more smoothly, or they all of a sudden just completely go doolally. Now, if you do use this 3rd possible option, the target suffers the effect of that poison instead and uses its normal save DC, and this uses up that poison. But then as you go up in level, you get additional, more potent options that either add something to that sickened situation, or add different kinds of damage, or have damage that is taken consistently at the end of every turn until they finish a save, or knocks you out. There's so many possible situations. And yes, at higher levels, you have the options of literal mushrooms as a poison option or neurotoxins. This is just so versatile and so flavorful. And have you ever seen The Princess Bride? I know this is a silly question to ask this group.
Of course.
You may recall Vincini and his iocane powder.
Yeah.
This is the iocane powder option. And then, while similar in theme to the shared hero plan of Dirty Little Secrets, you have a plan called I Had Them Bugged. Basically, this doesn't take an action of any kind when you enact this plan. You just name one person that you met in the last 24 hours, and within that last 24 hours, you slipped a bug, a listening device on them. And you can basically ask the GM a question about that person or their activities for the past 24 hours, and the GM has to give you a true answer, so long as it's something you could reasonably have learned from recording or listening in on the target's actions and communications. Now, the GM might refuse for the sake of the story, but if they do, they must allow you to ask another question following the same guidelines. If no question is appropriate, then the GM has to refund you your genius point, which I think is a perfect compromise. It's a very good compromise.
That's fair.
And the GM, of course, can reveal any additional information that they choose. And as you go up in level, the number of questions you can ask for that single genius point increases, the types of information you can ask, the length of the surveillance, the further back you can go in the past about information increases. It just is an amazing, using the fantasy terminology, it's an amazing divination effect for really digging into what is my enemy or target of the mission. What are they doing? What are their habits? How can we use this to plan an ambush or mess with their plans? It's so good with the cerebral options here. And then there's the plan, I have the perfect disguise. When you enact this plan as an action, you can reveal a disguise you were prepared for the occasion. This makes you the character of Ethan Hunt from the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, quite literally. It even says the disguise makes you look like almost identical to another person you've seen. It can include facial prosthetics, a realistic wig, skin tone adjustments, anything else required to mimic the chosen person. It can even include normal clothing or uniform, although any identification or badge wouldn't hold up to more than just a cursory scrutiny. And you can even, whether it's through putting like lifts in your shoes or hunching your shoulders, you can make yourself look to be 3 inches taller or shorter and up to 25% lighter or heavier. This doesn't actually change your measurements or weight, but you can at least provide the visual illusion of this. And it doesn't change your voice. But what it does do is give you advantage on any deception check to pretend to be the person you're disguised as, so long as the target of your deception can see you. Anyone else trying to see through the disguise must use their action to squint at you, inspect your appearance, make an investigation check against your plan DC, and only if the check is successful do they see through the disguise. Otherwise, they believe it. And by the way, as far as the duration goes, this disguise lasts for an hour before the disguise starts literally breaking apart. And as you go up in level, you gain a voice modulator to disguise your voice. You can actually provide equally effective disguises to allies. You can increase the duration for up to 8 hours. It's fantastic for infiltration. I mean, this is Mission Impossible. And I think one of the best named of the mastermind plans, I knew you'd do that. When you're attacked or need to make a dexterity save, you use your reaction to start this plan up, and you just get an automatic +5 bonus to your defense and your dex saves until the start of your next turn. Now, you can wait until you know the result of the roll that triggers this effect before you use the ability, potentially forcing an attack that would hit to miss, or a save that would fail to succeed. And again, as you go up in level, you can give this benefit to somebody else. You could increase the duration of this massive boost to your defense and dex saves, or increase it's fantastic. And then the next plan up is one that I personally would love to use in a combat situation. I lured you into danger. And again, this is another reaction plan. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this particular smart person class, most of their plans are, about half their plans actually are reactions. This gives you a lot of stuff you can do to really interrupt, mess with the DM, mess with plans of the foes and the enemies. This really does give you a lot of options for your reaction. Now, it means that you can only use one reaction, but still, all these things are very potent. So I lure you into danger when an opponent within 30 feet of you and that you are aware of tries to move closer to you. You can enact this plan with your reaction to make the opponent stumble. Maybe you throw a broom at their feet, or they stumble into a cleaning cart, or you had set up a loose floorboard foot trap, and so they just trip and fall down. But basically, they've got to make a dex save against your plan DC, and if they fail, they take 2d6 bludgeoning damage from the fall or whatever else you put on their feet, and even half if they make a successful save. And by the way, if they fail the save, they are knocked prone, and their movement speed is reduced to 0 until the end of their current turn, ending their movement effectively. And as you level this up, the damage gains extra damage die. The range at which you can activate this increases. It's just a beautiful, I'm just going to completely mess with whatever plans you have to make an attack or knock me out or plant evidence on me. And then we come to, I'll show you how it's done, or rather, I'll tell you how it's done. This is an action to enact, and you target yourself or an ally in 5 feet that can hear you, and basically you shout out instructions, and for the next minute, they gain one effect. And this effect is very much an enhance abilities type effect. You basically choose one of the 6 ability scores, and whichever one you choose, you get advantage on that score's checks for the next minute. And of course, if you've got the dexterity one, you also gain damage reduction 15 against falling if you're not incapacitated. And if you gain the constitution one, you get 2d6 temporary hit points. And the duration of this increases as you level up. You can affect multiple targets of increasing number as you level up. It's a very good buff effect. I have to fight myself to not say spell when I talk about smart hero plans. Then finally, we come to they'll never see us coming. Now, this is an action to enact, and you and any allies you choose that can see or hear you gain a +5 bonus to their stealth checks for 10 minutes. And as you go up in level, as you increase the potency of this plan, the duration goes up to 1 hour, then to 4 hours, and that bonus jumps from a +5 to a +10, and finally to a +15. You become a living ghost.
That's pretty nutty.
Oh, this is so nutty, Professor. I love it. But that's the mastermind. And on the topic of professors, I think that brings us to the scientist.
Yeah. Round it out.
I love scientists, as Kelly Bundy would say. So, the scientist. Now, before I get into the scientist, I have to go back about 28 years to 1996. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a TV movie for Doctor Who. Now, I've never seen an episode of Doctor Who, but in my scientific research, I found out there was a character called the Master, and he was a scientist, played by none other than Eric Roberts.
What?
Yes. Eric Roberts was in a TV movie of Doctor Who as the Master, a scientist.
And this is how he enters into this episode. I love it.
And this is why I wanted the scientist, so I could.
Of course you did.
Could do this. We got to keep Eric Roberts alive. He's a national treasure. Sorry, Nicolas Cage. So the scientist...
No loss of love to Nick Cage, though. We love Nick Cage.
Oh, no, we do love Nick Cage. I even like Nick Cage and Ghost Rider.
I did too, if I'm honest. But sorry for the tangent.
Yeah, my favorite Nick Cage movie, however, stars a Scotsman that we're well acquainted with, is The Rock.
That was a fantastic... That would be such a great cinematic adventure.
I'm Stanley Goodspeed. Well, of course you are.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Of course you are. While we're a little off topic on this, there is a fan theory that his character is a missing James Bond. I forget which Bond movie, but James Bond disappeared after one of the movies.
Mysteriously locked away after a failed mission by the Queen. Yes, I could see it.
Or not by the Queen, or by the American, being in Alcatraz.
Sometimes the colonials and the British do continue to share resources.
So, back on topic, back to the scientist. Your mastery of the sciences is normally applied in the lab, making new discoveries and advancing human knowledge. But when lives are on the line, you are ready to demonstrate that knowledge truly is power. A scientist's plans are themed around biology and chemistry to damage enemies and aid allies. They're a great choice if you want to play a support role in combat or tend to the injuries of other heroes. They are one of the more highly skilled classes with a range of expertise available to them. Now, for proficiencies, Constitution and Intelligence. They get to choose 3 skills from computers, investigation, mechanics, medicine, natural sciences, security, and social sciences. They get no equipment. None. No, you're naked underneath your lab coat.
But
They get to choose 2 scientific expertise from computers, mechanics, medicine, and natural sciences. And as always, you must be proficient in said skill. Equipment recommendations are scientist pack and weapons, none.
that's okay, though. They are a weapon.
They are. So, talents. Level 1 is dangerous stuff. Level 3 is a plan improvement. Level 5 is hazardous stuff and a plan improvement. Level 7 is a plan improvement. And level 9 is deadly stuff and plan improvement.
Nice.
Now, for the dangerous stuff, you can use leftover science materials to attack your enemies. As an action, you can make an attack with this dangerous stuff. The statistics of this weapon are shown below. Your attack bonus for this attack is your intelligence modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Your damage bonus is equal to your intelligence modifier. You have an effectively unlimited supply of dangerous stuff. As a bonus action, you can change the damage type of this weapon until the end of combat to your choice of acid, cold, electricity, explosive, fire, or poison. At level 5, the hazardous stuff, the damage of your dangerous stuff improves to 2d6. Its PV becomes 2. And at level 9, the deadly stuff, the damage of your dangerous stuff improves to 3d6, and its PV becomes 3. All right, on to the plan. The scientist plans, you have adrenaline shot. As an action, you can enact this plan to inject yourself or a willing or unconscious ally within 5 feet of you with an adrenaline shot you prepared earlier. The target gains temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your intelligence modifier. If they were at 0 hit points, they also regain 1 hit point. And that increases at levels 3, 5, 7, and 9 from 2d6, 46, 66, and 8d6, all plus your intelligence modifier. Your next scientific plan is a can of whoop ass. As an action, you can enact this plan to provide yourself or a willing ally within 5 feet of you with a chemical agent of your own making that provides the following benefits for the next minute. So you now just became a bartender. You can increase target's movement speed by 10 feet. The target gains advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. And the target gains +2 bonus to all damage rolls they make. Level 3, you can affect the target up to 60 feet away by either shooting a dart at them or because you set them about earlier. 5 is 2 targets. Level 7, the targets also ignore the effects of exhaustion and have an advantage on con endurance checks. And level 9, targets also gain advantage on all attack rolls for the duration. Next up is I Have the Cure. When you enact this plan as an action, you can administrate a prepared curative agent to yourself or one living ally within 5 feet of you. Sorry, robots. Ending either one illness or one condition afflicting the target. Applicable conditions include blinded, deafened, paralyzed, sickened, and all the levels of intoxication. Level 3 within 60 feet, and level 5 for the next 8 hours. The target also gains damage reduction 10 against poison and has advantage on saving throws against poison, illness, and any effect that would inflict blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or sickened condition. Level 7, you get 2 living allies, and level 9, instead of the usual effects, you can reduce a target's exhaustion level by up to 3. Next one. Oh, this one is quite hot. Inferno Bomb. As an action, you can enact this plan to throw a rigged incendiary explosive at a point up to 80 feet away. Each combatant within 20 feet of that point must make a dex saving throw against your plan DC, taking 46 fire damage, ignoring armor. On a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. A target who fails a save is also burning.
Ooh,
Taking
that's some
1d6
spicy
fire
barbecue.
damage at the start. That is. At the start of it, burning, taking 1d6 fire damage at the start of each of its turns instead of the normal amount. The DC to extinguish the fire is your plan DC. Let's see. Level 3 goes to 5d6 and 30 feet. Level 5 is 66 and burning becomes 2d6. Level 7, 76 and targets within 40 feet of the chosen point. And level 9 is 8d6 damage and 3d6 burning. The next one. The Joker likes to use this one. Knockout gas. As an action, you can enact this plan to throw a canister of gas that induces unconsciousness. The gas can affect a number of hit points of combatants equal to 3d8 plus 10. You can target a location up to 80 feet away at the center of the effect. Each combatant within 20 feet of the target location is potentially affected. Combatants wearing gas masks or similar protective gear are not affected. At level 3, 5, 7, and 9, it increases the hit points affected plus 10, 15, 20, and 25, respectively. We've got 2 left here. We have Said the Spider to the Fly, right into my trap. When you enact this plan as an action, choose an opponent with 120 feet that you can see. They have set off the sticky web trap you placed earlier. Knowing they would blunder into it at this moment, the target must make a dexterity saving throw against your plan DC or become restrained for 1 hour. A restrained target can use their action to attempt to break free by making a strength check against the plan DC, ending the effect on a successful check. At level 3, you can choose to affect everyone within 5 feet of the target. During a foot chase, you can affect up to 2 opponents. Level 5, you choose to affect everyone within 10 feet. You can choose to exclude any number of targets in the area. Level 7, you can choose to affect everyone within 20 feet. During a foot chase, you can affect up to 3 opponents. And level 9, targets have disadvantage on strength checks to escape the trap. And the last one, this takes me back to an old video game on the NES and arcade called Spy Hunter. Smokescreen. As an action, you can enact this plan to throw a smoke bomb, creating a 20-foot radius sphere of smoke centered on a point within 80 feet. The sphere spreads around corners and its area has no visibility. See visibility in Chapter 10. It lasts for 1 hour or until a wind of moderate or greater speed, at least 10 miles an hour, disperses it. So bust out your 20-inch box fans, folks.
Nice.
At level 3, the radius sphere increases to 40 feet. At level 7, 60 feet. See, at level 5, you can cause the smoke to be noxious. If you do, each combatant who is completely within the smoke at the start of its turn must make a con save against the plan DC. Failed save, the combatant becomes sickened until the start of their next turn. A sickened combatant spends their action during their turn retching and reeling. Combatants wearing a gas mask or similar protective gear are not affected. At level 9, you can make the smoke poisonous. They get a con save against the plan DC. The combatant takes 5d8 poison damage, ignoring armor, and on a failed save, and half as much on a successful save. And if you're wearing gas mask or similar protective gear, they're not effective. If you cause the smoke to be both noxious and poisonous, combatants must make a single Constitution saving throw against both effects. And that brings us to the end of our scientist class. So there was quite a few cool things in there.
Very versatile.
The Inferno Bomb is probably one of my favorite.
Who doesn't like a giant explosion in a game session? I mean, it's cinematic as hell, if you pardon the pun.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you're actually running away from the bad guys and they're like, well, we need a distraction. Here, take my bomb.
Oh, yeah. And there's just something almost traditional about a tabletop RPG situation where at least one character has the ability just to turn a section of the table into a massive inferno. at least for an action.
And I mean, as long as you have genius points, you can use the same thing over and again if you want.
Right. This is one of the reasons I love the smart hero so much. You get so much bang for your buck as you level up. Each of those genius points does so much more than it did the level or 2 levels before.
Right. I mean, at level 9 and 10, you have 7 genius points, and plans, at level 10, you get 5 plus your intelligence modifier. Now, I know my player who plays Alfred Einstein already has a 20 intelligence for a +5.
Oh, yeah.
I believe they just hit level 3, so they will have 6 plans available to them.
Oh, yeah.
And
that plan DC is going to be high.
Yeah, and 4 genius points, so they can do 4 before they get a rest.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big weakness of the smart hero archetype in general is, I think you used this before to describe the hacker. It's a glass cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Once the resource is used up, most of the smart hero folks do not necessarily have anything innate that they can use. Like that, the engineer does have their mechanical buddy that can be a decent combat person in their place, provided they can keep distance. But like the mastermind, they outright suggest that they probably need some protection. And the hacker has some great manipulation of electronics and such, but they also, if they're out of juice, then they don't get much in the way of weapons. Now, the scientist has that awesome, dangerous stuff. I mean, basically, you're just lobbing fire acid nonstop. We'll see some other smart heroes in the vault next time that do kind of spin that around a little bit. Yeah, their stuff might not be as cinematically explosive as some of the ones we've gone over today, but some of them are very well equipped in one sense or the other, one way, shape, or form. I kind of mixed my metaphors there for a second. Yeah, this is a very fun archetype. Lots of possible ways you could take a character, lots of classes to choose from, and those class plan lists are packed with flavor, packed with cool stuff for the characters to do. I really enjoyed the times I played Smart Heroes very much, in point of fact.
Yeah, once we go off air, I'm going to suggest something to you guys so I can get your take on something. But off air, I like to be secretive and, just tease the audience. What were they talking about? Ooh, on this spooky day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess it is Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy All Hallows Eve, everybody.
Beware of men riding horses with no head.
Oh, that reminds me of the old Bing Crosby Disney animation with the Ichabod Crane and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. When the ghosts have a midnight jamboree, they kick it up with fiendish glee. I love it. Love that so much.
I really prefer the math. The monster math.
That is a classic.
The Halloween song.
It is.
Truth.
And just remember, Wolfman has nards if you run into Wolfman.
This is fair. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's love this archetype. Really excited to dig into because when we go into the vault ones, the vault has, I think, more smart hero class options than any other class. I think there are 7. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of smart hero
options.
possibilities.
I do have the vault right here. Let me see what we got for smart heroes. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? Let's see. 1, 2, 4, 5. It's got 5.
And then you go to the extraordinary classes.
Extraordinary
There are 2 more. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 and 7. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a bonkers episode with a lot of, like, the ones in the core book. I mean, yeah, they're meant for a modern, quote, real world, unquote, but they're cinematic. They're pretty crazy in the stuff they can do, especially the hacker, like, worldwide communication interrupt. But yeah, the stuff in the vault's going to be both a blend of attempts to hone down the cinematics for more realistic type games and completely throwing the realism out the window when we get into, like, the extraordinary stuff. So it's even more shenanigans coming up next episode, folks.
Yeah, I'm looking, the first one listed under, the smart hero in this is, what I'll call Thurston Howell the Third.
Oh, Gilligan.
And then the one after that is one after my own heart from playing Years of Twilight 2000. That's a more
Loved it.
military focused one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the one after that could be like almost an Indiana Jones maybe, just based off the name.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and I know we're whetting the appetite for the folks listening for next episode, but yeah, this is just a very versatile archetype. So many class options, and they each do such different things. It really is fun. I think the next most versatile archetype I think is probably going to be the wise heroes that we'll get to in a few episodes because they also their classes are so distinct in flavor and ability.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Mm-hmm. Now, not to say that the strong, agile, and tough heroes don't have distinct classes and their own flavors and such, but the smart and wise heroes just really branch out in the stuff the classes do.
Yeah, I mean, just like anything, your martial classes are going to be a bit more nuts and bolts, streamlined,
A bit more focused.
play.
Yeah,
a bit more focused, and
which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the combat mechanics are all worked out well. That's what I really like about these archetypes, and you see it in some of the agile and strong archetypes where it's not entirely combat or mechanics focused. It does allow for a little bit more of the RPG side of TTRPG,
Oh yeah, this Everyday Heroes is just a very well designed game.
Yeah,
very well designed.
This is definitely a game that really does, and I bring it up a lot, where it does push you as a GM to learn like a bit more, because some of the games a lot of the games that we play, I mean, they're a ton of fun, but they are kind of static when it comes to, learn the mechanical side, min-maxing and all of that. But, when it comes to things like these plans and some of the stuff we'll see in the Wise Heroes, it really does come down to like your ability to move laterally when it comes to the storytelling side of things. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I say that finishes our Smart Heroes core rulebook.
All right. That's playing it smart.
Yeah. Since you brought us into this podcast, Spectral, why don't you take us out?
But then I won't have two co-hosts left. I'll be down beneath Barbarian. I mean, if I take you out, I don't want to take you guys out.
Yeah.
I'll meet you at PAX.
I can close the episode.
All right. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
You do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll close this out. And on that note, big shout out to Brobarian. Hope that you have a fantastic Halloween night. We missed you, and look forward to the next time we're all together recording.
Amen.
So everybody, be safe out there with the trick or treating. Be safe out there with your families. And thank you so much for listening to a bunch of us friends just gabbing about a game we really love and making a lot of pop culture references into the bargain. And so, from the offices of Redemption, play it smart. See you next time. Bye.